by the new family.
In memory of. Lights, camera, action.
So this, in principle, is a shir for men.
Just backwards, or give me for yourself?
And some of the concepts can carry over to women, some of them can't. But this is dafka for men. It's not that we're going to be discussing anything intimate or make it uncomfortable for anybody, although I may make it uncomfortable from other sides. But not everything that we'll discuss is shaykh to a woman. And I would personally treat it that if something speaks to you, you can share it, but don't necessarily expect that from your wife you'll hear applause. It might be applause that, yeah, you should do it, but not shaykh to me. Okay. So the way to approach any topic like this, any topic at all that we don't have something organized, and because of the modern world we almost don't have anything organized about anything, is to look at what Chazal say and try to begin to build a model for relating Shalom Bayis in a way that Chazal saw it. Okay? So what we're going to start with is a pasuk. We all know this pasuk, and this pasuk is discussed in length in the Gemara, relatively in length. Let's see what we have to say about it. Matzah isha matzah tov, v'yafek ratzon me'avaya. So, one who has found a woman, says Shlomo Melech in Mishlei, is found good, and yafek is like to produce. That's the modern Hebrew translation. He produces ratzon from Shem Avaya, from Hashem. So what does this mean? So let's see what the Gemara says about it. The Gemara says, "Kacha al zot yitpalel kol chasid elecha le'et mitzvah." The Gemara starts with another pasuk. This pasuk is from Perek Lamed Bet in Tehillim. That every chassid should daven to you in order or in the time of finding. Le'et mitzvah could be like that there's a time that's good for finding. It could also be le'et mitzvah, in order to find. Amar Rabbi Chanina le'et mitzvah. What is this time of finding or in order to find? Zo isha. Shenemar matzah isha matzah tov. So this time of finding is to find one's wife. Because when one finds a woman, he finds good. So this we know, there's a lot of discussion about this, that ish mechazer achei avedato and isha mechazeret achei avedata. That the man seeks the woman because he lost something. The reason the Torah tells us, who cares? Who cares how man was created? How does that change anything in the mitzvahs that I do? It doesn't change anything. I don't need to know. So the Torah tells me something that originally it was one person, one body, male and female together, and then he doesn't say that he made the male-female sleep, he made the male sleep. That's the lashon that he uses. And in any case, when he separated it out, what the result was a woman. So in this sense, it's like telling us that deep in our deep psychology, there's a feeling that the male has lost something, that there's something, a part of him that's lacking, that's missing. But it's a part of him. He can recognize it, say, or he needs it in a certain sense, in order to gain back his sense of being complete. Okay. So he searches for his loss. Later on, we'll put some caveats on this idea about who's complete and who's incomplete. But for now, he's looking for his wife. So he has a sense. And she's not looking for him, as it were. She's not seeking him. Why? Because she doesn't have a sense of loss. What does she have instead? It says a sense of emptiness. They're different. There's a sense of being empty. There's a sense of being incomplete. And that I lost something. I had something and I lost it. I want it back. As opposed to feeling that to get married, I have to connect with my being empty. I'm not looking for something that I lost. I won't recognize it that way. I'll recognize it because it's almost a new feeling that I didn't have until now. Then until now I came into contact with my being not incomplete, but rather empty almost. And now something fulfills me. The feeling is one of that she's searching for something that will fulfill her. Almost like you would say, would give her meaning. But the man is looking for something that is missing. There's something he feels that there's something missing from me.
The Gemara actually says that a woman probably made do that, so she just needs another person, but the man needs something specific. It means that specific person, otherwise that's a cause for gear.
So that's one side of it. The other side, since you brought it up, is to say that even though, as true as that is, today many times the one who recognizes that this is the shidduch is dafka the woman, and not the man. Why is this? Because halachically, a man could theoretically marry more than one woman. But a woman can only marry one man. So in a certain sense, when you ask, is this the right shidduch or not, she has to be 100% convinced that this is what she wants. A man doesn't have to be 100% convinced. He can be 80% convinced, even 50% convinced. The Rebbe even says that as long as there's some basic attraction, it's enough in order to build a good home. Yeah, that's why physical contact before marriage is not necessary. Sometimes there are problems with it, but it's rare. It's not something that happens a lot. But in any case, the woman, because she can only marry one, she has to be 100% convinced that this is the person that she wants to marry. So again, it's not saying that once you get married you can marry another woman. It's just saying that psychologically there's still an openness. And even that openness, that willingness to commit to the woman that I married takes time in men. It's not something that happens at the moment that he decided to get married. This is something that many young people struggle with. And that they don't understand, they don't know that to commit fully 100% to your wife takes time. It's not something, you wake up in the morning and you see that you're attracted to other women, that doesn't mean you're crazy. It means that it takes time to fully commit, but you should strive for that. You should strive to get to that point where you're 100% committed that this is where my life is complete. In this home, I don't need anything else. That's called, that's holiness that a person strives for. You should know that it's not necessarily automatic. It's not like that you wake up the morning after the wedding, or 10 months after the wedding, or 2 years after the wedding, and you feel, wait a minute, I'm not so attracted, maybe I'm attracted in other places also. It doesn't mean that you're crazy. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It just means that you have to be aware of the fact that it takes time to build this commitment in order to connect fully where you are. It's true about everything.
This other woman.
She's immediately committed. If she's not, she is crazy. Like it is a problem that has to be taken care of. Okay? It's not just a process. And if a woman is not, it means that from the beginning she wasn't 100% committed. But normally, in order to get married, she has to feel that this is 100% where I'm fulfilled. And so much so that you know the halachas, hopefully if you've learned the halachas, t'vo'u ali naseh. When a woman is asked to wed, and immediately there's halachas that go with that. When a woman is asked to marry, when the man asks the woman to marry, immediately we have halachas that say that something physically changed in her at that moment. She's neither at that moment. It doesn't matter if anything happened or not. We consider it to be neither.
He's not neither beforehand or
She could be beforehand also. But at that moment, if she...
Ah.
I didn't understand what you said just now. I mean, what did you say? Okay.
So the man has this feeling of Matzah Yisham he has to find. And the trick here is to know that the process of committing is to find all the time. Meaning I'm always finding my wife. as opposed to her, again, that it's a set situation. We're together, that's it now. Like there's no other options. By a man, it's a continual process of finding. Every morning could be that I need to find my wife again. I mean, it could be that in the beginning of the day.
If you think it's a mistake, you have to still try to look.
Sorry?
If you think it's a mistake, what's wrong? So you have to try.
It's a mistake is very
No, I'm saying
big.
have to still
It means
try
that the
to
person
look.
doesn't know how to look yet. He doesn't know how to find. Even after he got married, on the contrary, the real finding begins after he gets married. And it's very different than the picture that people paint, okay? Especially Hollywood. Hollywood's picture of marriage is happily ever after, which is a bunch of baloney. It's nonsense. It doesn't exist in the world anywhere. And more importantly, it pulls the rug under true relationships. People say you need to work on a relationship. What do you need to do? You need to find. That's the operative word. Nimtza. I have to find her. I have to find her anew, maybe even every day. I mean, it could be that when I wake up in the morning, I don't find myself attracted. But as the day carries on, if I notice what's going on and I search for her, I will find her. Because of that, the Rogachover, for instance, says that marriage is not a one-time mitzvah that you do, kiddushin and the chuppah. Rather, it's called a pu'ula mitmashechet, he calls it. It's an ongoing process. You go so far. Somebody, I don't remember who it was, a Rav that I know somewhere asked a question about, he has a couple that wants to renew their marriage.
The vows.
By the Christians, it's called renewing the vows. We don't have such a thing. We don't make vows. Although it's not a bad thing to make vows, but if it's a mitzvah, but that's a different issue. So we don't have this thing here. But he wanted to know if he could make some kind of tekes, some kind of ceremony. So he said, I don't know, if you find somebody who paskins according to the Rogachover, you might be able to do the whole kiddushin again. We need to find somebody who's willing to paskin like him. But the Rogachover thought that way, that it's an ongoing process, and it's so much an ongoing process, you should feel that every day you're getting married again. And the truth is that the reason the men lose interest is because they're not taught, or they don't know, that it's exciting every day because you have to find again. It's like you're searching again for whom to marry. It's true that you already decided who this person is going to be, but you have to search for that connection that initially may have been easier. And now you have to find it on different levels. But you're always in a state of searching.
What if you get tired of looking?
Is that